Let's look at the cards. Oh! He doesn't even have 3 aces. What the fuck? I had thought that I saw 3 kings over there before, but when they said 3 aces, I'm like, oh, okay, I guess it must have been that. Because, like, what kind of fucking lie is that? I can just look at the picture and see that that's just not even the truth. Like, it's just not reality at all. He doesn't even have 3 aces. It's just bullshit. Are you kidding me? Wow, okay, yeah, here. It appears the witness is mistaken. Mistaken? But my name... Aw, she's adorable. Look, this piece of evidence clearly contradicts what you said in your testimony. That's the photo of the chips, is it not? Justice, perhaps you ought to explain your point in a way that the judge can comprehend. In other words, use your finger to point out your point. Yes, please point out the contradiction in this photo. What particular point contradicts the witness's testimony? He doesn't have 3 aces, dude. Fucking look at that shit. Are you kidding me? Miss Orley. Oh my god, my desktop just fucking went blank. It, screensavered. Went black. I hope it's still recording properly. Please? I hope. Miss Orley, in your testimony you made the following claim. Mr. Smith's hand has 3 aces. But as you can clearly see, the victim's hand only held 2 aces. Eek.
Well, maybe the witness was simply confused. Perhaps it was the defendant's hand that held the 3rd ace.
No. Take another look at the evidence. As you can see, the defendant also had 2 aces in his hand. Where's this 5th ace? I can see cheating alright, and it's going on right here in this courtroom. 2 aces in each player's hand does make 4 aces total. Hardly proof of cheating.
Wait, please. It is true. I have seen it. The 5th ace. There was cheating, I swear to you.
That's odd. She must be lying, yet she's the most sincere I've seen her all day. You're right to trust your instincts. Mr. Gavin? Who knows what lies in store for us in the trial ahead? Your Honor, if I may, I have a suggestion. What might that be, Mr. Gavin? If you don't mind, perhaps we might examine the actual cards. The cards? Mr. Payne?
Yes?
The players' hands that night were set aside as evidence, were they not? The defense would like to request that the cards be shown to the court. Very well, the prosecution will submit this evidence. Which will you examine? The victim's cards or the defendant's cards? If these cards don't prove cheating was going on, nothing will. Now, which of these hands is more suspicious? Well, they said the victim's hand was the one that had an ace that it didn't have, so we're gonna go with that one. The defense requests time to examine Mr. Smith's cards. Very well, Mr. Payne, if you would.
Very well.
Well, time's a-wasting. Get to it, Justice. Yes, sir. Here we go. Oh, we get to do this thing. This was like in case 5 of the first game. Because this is the first game, I believe, that was made for the DS originally, and was made after case 5 of the first game. So this is a thing now. I don't know if we ever did it in the court in that game, in that case. But it's kind of cool that it's bringing it back. Don't bring back the fingerprint dusting. That was a pain in my dick. That should give you a better perspective on the case. Okay, let's do this. Let's zoom in. Yeah, cool. I like it. One of them's blue. They mixed them up. Which one is blue? One of the kings. Okay. What? Your Honor, look at this. One of the victim's cards. The back is a different color.
That's impossible. But I put that card in right.
J'accuse. What was that, Miss Orley?
No, niet. I merely said, da, I have eek.
Your Honor? Mr. Gavin, yes?
Tell me, what is the easiest way to cheat at poker?
To cheat?
I'll tell you. One merely needs a friend. A comrade, shall we say. The dealer.
Wait, so you mean... This witness, Miss Orley, she's the cheater, a professional, I'd wager.
Yeah.
Order, order. Focus, Justice. Time to take advantage of her. I mean, yeah. Please. Your Honor, please recall the testimony we just heard.
It's impossible, but I put that card in Wright's hand.
Ergo, Miss Olga Orley conspired to cheat, not with my client, but with the victim, Mr. Shoddy Smith. I'm listening to the music.
Ooh.
Not only did she cheat, she cheated poorly. Therefore, it's not hard to imagine an altercation between her and the victim.
Wait,
you don't mean... The defense isn't accusing the witness, Miss Olga Orley, are you? Time for justice. Really? That's just gonna continue forever, isn't it? Just throughout the whole game, I feel like we're just gonna get justice all over the place. Is that gonna be his catchphrase? Time for justice? Mr. Wright isn't guilty, that means... Don't... It's a good thing you didn't say that out loud. If Mr. Wright isn't guilty, that means I am. The defense accuses the witness of Miss Olga Orley of murder.
eek!
Oh my god, you killed her! Mr. Payne, where is your witness, Miss Olga Orley?
It appears she has lost consciousness, Your Honor.
Mr. Justice? Your Honor. It seems you've presented a new possibility to the court. One suggesting a connection between the witness and the victim, Mr. Smith. And that means... This court cannot pronounce a verdict for the defendant at this time.
What?
I did it. I held out. I see no point in prolonging the trial this day. The prosecution will need to make further inquiries. Hello, Papa. Mr. Wright? You can't end the trial here, Your Honor. Not yet.
What nonsense is the defendant spewing now?
Think. One of the cards had a different colored back. More than one, because the top card of the deck was blue too. Don't you wonder what that means?
What are you doing, Mr. Wright? Raising objections right when you're about to get off the hook? Ridiculous.
Mr. Payne, you of all people should know, Mr. Wright has a talent for the ridiculous. Yup. Perhaps we should get to the bottom of things. Let's clear up the facts about the game that fateful night. Okay. As was said before, we alternated between two decks of cards that night.
That was said before.
The two decks of the club have different colored backs, blue and red. One color per deck. Why use different colored backs? If we use the same color, the two decks might get mixed. You use different colors and they still got mixed up. Well, not by accident, by cheating. We used the red deck for the last game. I see, but that's odd. For some reason, I have this impression that you were using the blue cards. It's because the deck, the top card, was blue. I'm sure someone said something about blue cards.
Whatever, in the end, one card of the wrong color got into the mix. Which means there was cheating.
So does that mean that all the red ones were cheated? Or were they just mixed up entirely? Yes, a card slipped into the deck would seem to indicate cheating. Yet this card raises two serious questions. Apollo? Yes? Let's consider the first question, shall we? Think. In the last game, when was the card swapped? When? There are three broad possibilities here. It could have been swapped before the murder, during the murder, or after the murder.
Well, yeah, thanks for the news bulletin, Mr. Wright. Of course it was swapped.
Oh. It might be as simple as you think, Mr. Payne. Or it might not be. I'd like to hear what Apollo thinks first. When do you think the cards were swapped? When was the card swapped into the deck? Well, what you would think would be before. During doesn't really make sense. So, I guess it's after. Which... maybe they were just arranged like that to frame him? To make it look like... whatever? and they somehow messed it up. And maybe that's why there seems to be several blue cards in the red deck, because maybe after the murder, there would obviously be like commotion. The cards would probably spill out all over the place. And he even said, like, yeah, one deck on the table, one deck on the floor. And so they probably just picked up random cards without looking at the colors of the backs after the murder, after they had all been scattered, and just kind of threw them together. That's what I'm thinking. So after. Perhaps it happened after the murder.
What's that? Ridiculous. What's the point of cheating after the hands have been shown? That's silly.
Yes, but tell me, how do you swap cards during the game? I'll take silly over impossible.
Take it from me, son. There's a lot of silly in this world, but very little impossible.
Oh, even when the backs of the cards are a different color? If you pulled that during the game, you'd be caught in no time. Oh, quite true. That would mean that the blue card in question was swapped after the hands were shown after the murder.
Okay, this is going past silly and straight on to crazy. I ask again, what's the point of cheating after the game's over? Who would do that?
Someone who's trying to fucking frame somebody. There's another? Yes, a simple yet decisive question must be asked. Who swapped the red card for a blue card? Who? The game and murder is done. The victim is dead. Only two remain in the room, alive that is. The defendant, Phoenix Wright, and our witness, Olga Orly. Okay, so who was it that swapped the red card for a blue? Well, it wasn't Phoenix. Olga apparently seemed sincere when she was saying... Well, didn't she say that... Didn't she say that she... did it? Or she said... I mean, she said that she was trying to put the ace in Phoenix's hand. But the card in question isn't even an ace. And it's blue. So... someone else is the biggest twist surprise answer. So I'm gonna say someone else. The one who swapped the cards wasn't Mr. Wright, of course. And, well, it doesn't seem like it could have been Olga Orly either. Could it really be fucking Christoph Gavin? Because, I mean, that was my first thought when he said he was having dinner with him on the night of the murder. Was like, okay, then you did it. But then he's been helping this whole time, and it was just kind of never mentioned again, so I thought maybe I misunderstood, or misheard, misread. But I don't know. I hope it's not Olga, though. I like her. What are you suggesting? That's hardly a logical conclusion. I mean, maybe he's been trying to get it blamed on Olga? Because he seems to have just been helping. Maybe he thought if he wasn't here, things could go badly for him and he should be here to control it, but he's been helping. Like, if he didn't help Apollo, he probably would have been fucking stuck. As the defense, I think it only makes sense for you to name Miss Orly at this point. Yes, I know. Maybe he was originally framing Phoenix, but then after Miss Orly came out and he realized she's suspicious, he can just go with that? I don't know. I just can't believe she would make the mistake of swapping the wrong color card. And if the card was swapped during the game, it'd be obvious. Heh. Something you'd like to share with the court, Mr. Wright? Oh, my apologies, Your Honor. I was just thinking how much fun all this is. This Phoenix is so cool.
Fun? How about confusing? I have no idea what the defense is claiming, Your Honor. If the one who swapped the card wasn't the defendant, and it wasn't Miss Orly, then who was it?
Because they've just been talking about how there's been 3 people in the room this whole time. So I kind of dropped the Christoph idea, like, where was he? Was he looking through that window or something? Whoa. Precisely. Huh? I believe we're about to see this case take a new direction. And Phoenix is just like so fucking calm and cool about it the whole time. Confident. He's like, yeah, my friend tried to fuck me over, but I know he did it, so I'm gonna screw him over in court. So I'm a badass piano player, poker player, attorney. A new direction? We'll find that indeed after the murder. Someone swapped one of the cards in the victim's hand. And that someone made 2 critical mistakes. Or I could be completely off base here, and I could sound like a lunatic. I'm sure you're going to tell us that the first was swapping the wrong color card. Because the one who did the swap didn't know 2 colors of cards were being used. The other mistake was the number on the card. Right, the person replaced the 5th ace with a king. I'm sure whoever swapped it wasn't expecting there to be a 5th ace after all. All they knew was that the game had been won with a full house. So they picked up a king from the table and swapped it in.
But there's one problem. According to our case record, this person doesn't exist.
True. Not until now. But you have to admit the possibility of a 4th person. Though it's more than a possibility. There was someone else there that night at the scene of the crime.
Wait!
I believe the judge spoke truthfully earlier. You do make trials ridiculous, Mr. Wright. This trial's proceeded on one central assumption. Namely, that at the time of the incident, there were only 3 people in that room. I believe this new evidence, shall we say, overturns that assumption. The problem is that you chose to conceal this information from the court. I suppose that is a problem, yes. I love his little smile. Court is adjourned for a brief recess. Mr. Gavin, I'll see you in my chambers during this recess. Certainly, Your Honor. Very well, the trial will resume in 20 minutes. Shit, dude. I mean, if it's him, that's a pretty good twist for a first case. Usually it's really straightforward, like, okay, there's the witness, so she obviously did it. And even though I said it at the very beginning, like, oh, maybe he did it, you know, I wasn't entirely convinced about that or anything. I just threw it out there the way I usually do, just because he said he was there. And then as the case went on, I was like, well, seems like that's probably not the case. So they threw it out there as something that you could maybe notice. And then as the case went on, seems like that was probably not the case, but then it turns out to be. And I think that's pretty good. For a first case, this is going on a little long, and that's a pretty good twist, and this is a pretty cool case in general. I'd have to say so far, thinking back on them, this is probably my favorite first case out of all of them. I mean, Trials and Tribulations was cool, but it was better after you played the whole game and you know the entire Phoenix and Dahlia story and everything. Just judging the first case alone, this one's pretty cool. Half of that is because Phoenix is so awesome here, and because I like Olga. Being mysterious, are we? Sadly, I have no time for mysteries. I'd only ask that you leave the defending to your defense in the future. Otherwise, I cannot guarantee the outcome. I see you haven't mellowed out one bit, Kristoff. Justice. Yes, sir? The judge has summoned me to his chambers, so carry on without me. You did well, Apollo. Can I ask you something? Sure. I'm curious why he wanted Apollo. Like, maybe it didn't matter, maybe it just mattered that it wasn't Kristoff, but like, I don't know, did he somehow know something about Apollo? Like, did he just want a rookie attorney to figure it out by himself? Did he think he'd be best for the job? Somehow remind him of his younger self? I don't know. Is that really yours, Mr. Wright? Ah, you're wondering about the victim's disappearing locket. Here, you can take a look at it. That's a picture of my daughter. Can I see it? Yeah, that's the girl on the cover, except on the cover she's wearing blue. But she's older. She's not fucking 7 or younger. There's no way. I'm just surprised to hear you had a daughter. Most people are. Perhaps you'll meet her one of these days. One more question. The one who cheated that night, was it you? What do you think? Huh? You know what happened 7 years ago? What I did? Excuse me? It's not unreasonable for you to think I might cheat. What did you do? I never, honest, but it is odd that he managed to go undefeated for 7 whole years. Want to know something? There's only one game where you can be dealt bad cards all night and still win. Poker. Eh? You see, poker's all about reading your opponent. In that way, it's a lot like a court case. Poker's like a trial law. Figure out what your opponent is thinking and you win. Well, yeah, but that's harder than it sounds. I think not. Try as they might to conceal it, everyone reveals their true thoughts in the end. Their body language can become a valuable source of information. You're kidding. That witness, for instance, Miss Orley. She would touch the back of her neck during certain parts of her testimony. Did you notice? Phoenix was never like this intuitive before. He's gotten better since he switched to poker. Come on, who noticed that? Words, habits, twitches. It's all information. See, this is what I heard about, that Apollo Justice has like some kind of lie detector ability like that, where he can see people's tells, you know? I guess he learned it from Phoenix. And he picks up on it really well, as far as I know. I don't know how it works gameplay-wise, but that's all I've heard about it. Someone taught me, and now I pass the secret on to you. But I'm not worthy. I mean, there's no way I'll pick up on these signals. No, you can do it. Huh? You just don't know it yet. What's he talking about? But you will, soon. Almost forgot. One more thing. About this case. You should know I haven't told the truth to anyone yet. What? I knew it. I have my reasons, of course. All shall be revealed. And Apollo, I need you to be there, defending me. I need your power. My, power? I had no idea my cords of steel were that special. See, there's something about Apollo that he wanted specifically. What is it? The real trial begins now. Do your best. Okay. To be continued, I guess. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.